In 9 tips, how to improve your communication skills. Introduction, the essence of communication. Communication is more than an exchange of words. It's the foundation of trust, collaboration, and influence. Every conversation, whether casual or critical, is a chance to connect with others in a meaningful way. Effective communication doesn't happen by chance. It's a skill that demands intention, practice, and self-awareness. When done well, it opens doors, strengthens relationships, and amplifies your ability to inspire and persuade. The strategies outlined here are practical, timeless, and rooted in the fundamentals of human connection. They are not about superficial tactics, but about mastering the core elements of communication. From listening with empathy to framing your ideas persuasively, these techniques will help you navigate conversations with confidence and clarity. As you explore these 9 essential principles, approach them as habits to integrate into your daily interactions. The rewards, stronger relationships, greater influence, and deeper understanding, are worth the effort. The 9 essential principles of effective communication. 1. Mastering nonverbal communication. The silent language. Nonverbal communication often speaks louder than words. Your body language, tone of voice, facial expressions, and posture all convey messages that can either reinforce or undermine what you say. A warm smile can invite trust, while crossed arms might signal defensiveness. To communicate effectively, your nonverbal cues must align with your verbal message. The power of body language. An open posture, upright stance, uncrossed arms, and relaxed shoulders projects confidence and approachability. In contrast, slouching or fidgeting can make you seem disinterested or unsure. When speaking, maintain a steady, natural gaze to show engagement, but avoid staring, which can feel intimidating. In group settings, make eye contact with different individuals to create a sense of inclusion. Facial expressions and tone. Your face tells a story. A genuine smile can make a conversation feel welcoming, while a furrowed brow might signal concern. Ensure your expressions match the tone of your message. Enthusiasm for exciting news, gravity for serious topics. Similarly, your tone of voice carries emotional weight. A steady, confident tone with natural variations keeps listeners engaged, while a monotone delivery risks losing their attention. For example, saying, "I'm excited about this," with a flat tone contradicts the message, creating confusion. Gestures and mirroring. Natural gestures can enhance your message, emphasizing key points or illustrating concepts. For instance, an upward hand motion can reinforce the idea of growth. However, overuse can distract, so keep gestures purposeful. Mirroring, subtly reflecting the other person's body language, can build rapport. If they lean forward, you might do the same, signaling alignment. Be cautious, though, as excessive mirroring can feel contrived. Cultural sensitivity. Nonverbal cues vary across cultures. In some cultures, direct eye contact signifies respect. In others, it may be seen as confrontational. Gestures like a thumbs up can have positive meanings in one context and offensive ones in another. Research cultural norms before engaging with diverse audiences to avoid misunderstandings. Practical tips. To master nonverbal communication, practice self-awareness. Record yourself speaking to observe your habits or practice in front of a mirror. Pay attention to how you sit, stand, and move during conversations. When listening, lean slightly forward, nod, and maintain eye contact to show you're engaged. Align your tone and gestures with your words to project authenticity. Over time, these habits will become second nature, amplifying the impact of your communication. Nonverbal communication is a silent language that shapes how others perceive you. By aligning your body language, tone, and expressions with your words, you create a cohesive message that builds trust and strengthens connections. Incorporating empathy. The heart of connection. Empathy is the cornerstone of meaningful communication. It's the ability to understand and share another person's feelings, transforming transactional exchanges into genuine connections. When you communicate with empathy, You show others that they are seen, heard, and valued. Understanding emotions. Empathy begins with curiosity about the other person's perspective. Ask yourself, what are they feeling? Why might they see things this way? Pay attention to emotional cues in their tone, word choice, and body language. If someone sounds hesitant, they might be anxious. If their voice is animated, they're likely excited. Acknowledging these emotions, saying, "It seems like this is really important to you," can make them feel understood. Active listening and reflection. Active listening is central to empathy. Focus fully on the speaker, resisting the urge to interrupt or plan your response. Reflect back what you hear to confirm understanding. It sounds like you're frustrated because the project isn't moving as planned. Is that right? This validates their emotions and encourages deeper dialogue. Avoid judgment even if you disagree. Instead of thinking, they shouldn't feel that way, ask questions to explore their perspective. Nonverbal empathy. Your body language reinforces empathy. A nod, a warm smile, or a softened tone signals that you're tuned in. If someone shares a challenge, lean forward slightly to show you're engaged. These small gestures convey care and presence, making the other person feel safe to open up. Balancing empathy and honesty. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everything someone says. You can validate their feelings without endorsing their views. For example, if a colleague is upset about a decision, you might say, "I can see why that feels unfair. Let's talk about what we can do." This acknowledges their emotions while maintaining your stance. Similarly, avoid rushing to offer solutions. Sometimes people need to be heard before they're ready for advice. Everyday empathy. Empathy isn't reserved for heavy conversations. It's in the small moments. Asking a coworker about their weekend and listening to their response, noticing when someone seems off and offering a kind word, or showing patience when someone struggles to express themselves. These acts build and trust over time, creating a foundation for stronger relationships. Practical tips. Practice empathy by putting yourself in others' shoes. Imagine their challenges, hopes, or fears before responding. Use phrases like, "That sounds really tough," or "I can imagine how exciting that must be," to show you're connected to their emotions. In tense situations, take a breath to stay present and avoid reacting impulsively. The more you practice, the more empathy will become a natural part of your communication. Empathy transforms communication by fostering trust and understanding. When people feel valued, they're more likely to engage openly, paving the way for deeper, more impactful connections. The rule of simplicity. Clarity is king. Simplicity is the hallmark of effective communication. A clear, concise message is more likely to be understood, remembered, and acted upon. Complexity can obscure your point, while simplicity cuts through the noise, delivering your ideas with precision and impact. Defining your core message. Before speaking, identify the single, most important idea you want to convey. Ask, "What do I want my audience to take away?" Keep this at the forefront as you craft your message. Avoid overloading your audience with extraneous details or tangents. If your goal is to persuade a team to adopt a new process, focus on its benefits, rather than diving into every technical detail. Brevity and word choice. Brevity is key to simplicity. Say only what's necessary, eliminating filler words like or basically. Each word should serve a purpose. Choose clear, relatable language over jargon or complex terms. Instead of saying, "We need to optimize our workflow," say, "Let's make our process faster and easier." This resonates with a broader audience and avoids confusion. Logical structure. Organize your thoughts in a clear, logical sequence. Start with an introduction that sets the context, follow with your main points, and conclude with a takeaway. If your message jumps between ideas, it can confuse listeners. For example, when pitching an idea, begin with the problem, explain your solution, and end with its benefits. A structured message is easier to follow and retain. Metaphors and analogies. Complex ideas become accessible through metaphors and analogies. If you're explaining a technical concept, relate it to something familiar. For instance, to describe a software update, you might say, "It's like giving your car a tune-up. It runs smoother and faster." These tools bridge the gap between complexity and comprehension, making your message relatable. The power of silence. Simplicity extends to what you don't say. Silence, as discussed later, allows your audience to process your words. Avoid overwhelming them with too much information at once. Focus on one idea at a time, giving listeners space to absorb and reflect. This approach ensures your message lands with clarity and force. Practical tips. To embrace simplicity, practice distilling your ideas to their essence. Before speaking, write down your core message in one sentence. As you communicate, ask yourself, is this clear? Is it concise? Is it necessary? Use simple language, structure your thoughts logically, and incorporate metaphors when explaining complex ideas. Over time, simplicity will become a hallmark of your communication style. Simplicity doesn't mean sacrificing depth, it means delivering your message with clarity and precision. A simple message sticks, resonates, and inspires action. Tailoring your message. Know your audience. Effective communication requires adapting your message to your audience's needs, preferences, and context. A one-size-fits-all approach rarely works, as each person or group brings unique perspectives, knowledge levels, and emotional states to the conversation. Tailoring your message ensures it resonates and connects. Understanding your audience. Start by considering who you're speaking to. What are their values, priorities, or challenges? If you're addressing a team focused on efficiency, emphasize results and time-saving solutions. If your audience values relationships, highlight collaboration and shared goals. Empathy is key. Put yourself in their shoes to understand their perspective. Adjusting for knowledge levels. Tailor your language to your audience's expertise. For novices, avoid jargon and break concepts into digestible pieces. If explaining a technical process, provide context and use simple terms. For experts, dive into details and nuances, skipping basic explanations. This ensures your message is neither condescending nor overwhelming. Matching communication styles. Observe how your audience communicates. Some prefer direct, concise messages. Others value detailed explanations or stories. If someone responds well to data, focus on facts and figures. If they connect through anecdotes, weave in a relatable story. Mirroring their style creates a natural, engaging conversation. Timing and context. Timing affects how your message is received. Is your audience distracted, stressed, or receptive? If they're preoccupied, a complex proposal might fall flat. Wait for the right moment or adjust your approach to capture their attention. For example, in a busy meeting, keep your points brief and impactful. Cultural and social nuances. Be mindful of cultural differences and social norms. Humor that works in one setting might offend in another. Research your audience's background to ensure your tone, gestures, and content are appropriate. This demonstrates respect and prevents miscommunication. Using feedback, pay attention to your audience's reactions, nodding, confusion, or disengagement, and adjust in real time. If they seem lost, clarify or rephrase. If they're engaged, build on their enthusiasm. This responsiveness shows you're attuned to their needs and committed to effective communication. Practical tips. Before speaking, research your audience's background, goals, and communication preferences. Frame your message to align with their values, using language and examples that resonate. Check for understanding by asking questions or observing cues. Stay authentic. Tailoring doesn't mean changing who you are, but presenting your ideas in a way that connects. Tailoring your message bridges the gap between you and your audience. By meeting them where they are, you create conversations that feel relevant, engaging, and impactful. The power of pausing. Creating space for impact. Pausing is a subtle yet powerful tool in communication. A well-timed pause adds clarity, emphasizes key points, and gives your message room to resonate. It's not about filling silence with words, but creating space for your ideas to land. Why pauses matter. Pauses allow listeners to process what you've said, like giving a seed time to settle in soil. They create rhythm, making your communication more engaging and memorable. A pause before a key point builds anticipation, signaling its importance, while a pause after lets it sink in, conveying confidence. Many fear silence, worried it signals uncertainty. In reality, pausing conveys confidence and control. Rushing through words can make you seem nervous, while a deliberate pause projects composure. It shows you're intentional about your message and comfortable with silence. Gathering. Thoughts pauses give you time to think. In heated moments, a brief pause prevents impulsive responses, ensuring clarity over confusion. Take a breath, consider your words, and proceed thoughtfully. This small act can transform the tone of a conversation. Reading the room. When you pause, you can gauge your audience's reaction, nodding, confusion, or readiness to interject. This allows you to adjust your approach, making your communication more responsive and effective. Pauses also diffuse tension in difficult conversations, acting as a reset button. Pausing. After questions. After asking a question, resist the urge to fill the silence. Give the other person time to think. A pause shows you value their input and aren't rushing them. Similarly, when listening, pause before responding to show you've considered their words, building trust and rapport. Practical. Tips practice. Pausing by consciously inserting a 2 or 3 second pause after key points or questions. Notice how it changes the conversation's rhythm. If pausing feels awkward, start small, gradually increasing your comfort. Over time, you'll find pauses enhance your clarity and impact. Pausing is a simple technique that separates good communicators from great ones. By creating space for your message to breathe, you ensure it's heard, understood, and remembered. Asking the right questions. Unlocking deeper dialogue. Questions are a cornerstone of effective communication, opening doors to understanding, trust, and collaboration. Thoughtful questions shift the focus to the other person, showing you value their perspective and fostering meaningful dialogue. Open-ended questions. Unlike yes or no questions, open-ended questions encourage elaboration. Instead of asking, "Did you like the project?" Try, "What did you think about the project?" This invites richer responses, revealing insights into their thoughts and feelings. Open-ended questions are ideal when understanding is your goal. Clarifying questions. To avoid misunderstandings, ask clarifying questions. If someone says, "I'm stressed about work," respond with, "Can you share what's been most stressful?" This shows you're listening and committed to understanding, while encouraging them to elaborate. Encouraging self-reflection. Questions that prompt reflection help others gain clarity. Ask, "What's most important to you here?" or "What do you see as the biggest challenge?" These questions empower the other person to explore their thoughts, deepening the conversation and building trust. Timing and tone. A genuine, curious. Tone makes questions feel collaborative, while an abrupt or accusatory tone can shut dialogue down. Instead of asking, "Why didn't you finish this?" say, "What challenges came up with this task?" The latter fosters openness rather than defensiveness. Balancing questions. Ask enough questions to show interest, but avoid overwhelming the other person. A conversation should flow like a dance, with both parties contributing. Allow time for full responses before asking follow-ups, and use nonverbal cues, nodding, eye contact, to reinforce your engagement, shaping the conversation. The questions you ask steer the discussion. Problem-focused questions, e.g., "What's wrong?" dwell on challenges, while solution-oriented ones, e.g., "What's one step we could take?" inspire action and optimism. Choose questions that align with your desired outcome. Practical. Tips: practice asking open-ended and clarifying questions in daily conversations. Pay attention to your tone and body language to ensure they convey curiosity. Listen fully to responses, using follow-ups to explore further. With practice, your questions will unlock deeper, more meaningful exchanges. Questions are bridges to connection. By asking the right ones, you create conversations that foster understanding, trust, and collaboration. Framing for persuasion. Shaping how your message lands. Framing is the art of presenting your ideas in a way that resonates with your audience, making them compelling and relatable. It's not about manipulation, but about aligning your message with their values, needs, and perspectives to inspire action. Understanding your audience's lens. Everyone interprets information through their unique experiences and beliefs. To frame effectively, consider what matters to your audience. If you're pitching to a cost-conscious team, emphasize savings. If they value innovation, highlight creativity. This alignment makes your message feel relevant. Starting with common ground. Begin by establishing shared values or goals. If proposing a new initiative, acknowledge a problem everyone recognizes, like, we all want to improve efficiency. This creates a sense of unity, making your audience more receptive to your ideas. Setting context. Provide a clear introduction to give your message context. A story, analogy, or statistic can illustrate why your idea matters. For example, before pitching a new tool, share a brief anecdote about a team that saved time using it. This captures attention and frames your message meaningfully. Choosing powerful words shape perception. Saying, "This is a challenge," evokes struggle, while "this is an opportunity" inspires optimism. Use language that motivates or reassures depending on your goal. Be intentional, as even small word choices can shift how your message is received. Focusing on benefits, highlight what's in it for your audience. Instead of detailing a process, emphasize its outcomes, like time savings or improved results. If introducing a new system, say, "This will free up hours each week," rather than listing technical steps. This makes your message more compelling. Addressing objections, anticipate concerns and address them proactively. If proposing a change, acknowledge potential hesitations. "I know change can feel daunting, but this will simplify our work." This builds trust by showing you've considered their perspective. Using stories make ideas memorable and relatable. Share a personal anecdote or a success story to illustrate your point. If advocating for teamwork, describe a time when collaboration led to success. Stories appeal to emotions, reinforcing your message's impact. Practical tips. Before communicating, map out your audience's values and concerns. Craft an introduction that sets context, use positive language, and incorporate stories or analogies. Practice delivering your message with confident nonverbal cues to reinforce its persuasiveness. With practice, framing will become a powerful tool for influence. Framing turns ideas into compelling narratives. By presenting your message in a way that resonates, you inspire your audience to listen, engage, and act. Listening with intention. The foundation of connection. Listening is the most underrated yet critical skill in communication. Intentional. Listening goes beyond hearing words. It's about being fully present, understanding emotions, and making the other person feel valued. True connection begins with how well you listen. Being fully present, eliminate distractions to give the speaker your undivided attention. Put away your phone, close your laptop, and focus on the moment. This simple act sends a powerful message. You matter. In a world full of distractions, your presence is a gift. Listening to understand. Most people listen to respond, mentally preparing their next sentence while the other person speaks. Shift your focus to understanding. Absorb not just the words, but the emotions, tone, and intent behind them. If someone shares a concern, notice if they sound frustrated or hopeful, and respond to those cues. Observing nonverbal cues. Communication isn't just verbal. Pay attention to body language, posture, gestures, eye contact. A clenched jaw might signal stress, while an animated gesture suggests excitement. These cues often reveal more than words, helping you respond with greater insight. Reflecting and clarifying show you're listening by paraphrasing what you hear. It sounds like you're worried about the deadline. Is that right? This confirms understanding and encourages deeper dialogue. Ask open-ended questions like, "Can you tell me more?" to invite elaboration without interrupting. Embracing silence. Silence is a powerful listening tool. Resist the urge to fill pauses. Give the speaker time to gather their thoughts. A pause signals patience and respect, encouraging them to share more. It also gives you a moment to process and respond thoughtfully. Practical tips. Practice. Intentional listening by setting aside distractions during conversations. Focus on the speaker's words and nonverbal cues, reflecting back what you hear. Embrace silence and ask thoughtful questions to deepen the dialogue. With practice, listening will become an act of connection, not just a pause between speaking. Intentional listening builds trust and fosters understanding. By making others feel heard, you create a foundation for authentic, impactful communication. Consistency between words and actions. Building trust is the bedrock of effective communication, and it's built through consistency between what you say and what you do. When your actions align with your words, you project integrity and reliability, making your message credible and compelling. Keeping commitments. Be intentional about the promises you make. Avoid overpromising to please others. Honesty builds more trust than unrealistic assurances. If you say, "I'll review this by tomorrow," ensure you follow through. If delays arise, communicate proactively. "I need an extra day, but I'll keep you updated." Aligning tone and nonverbal cues. Your tone and body language must match your words. If you say, "I'm thrilled about this," but your voice is flat or your arms are crossed, people will sense a disconnect. Ensure your enthusiasm or seriousness is reflected in your delivery to convey authenticity. Living your values. Your actions should reflect the principles you espouse. If you advocate for collaboration, initiate teamwork. If you value transparency, share information openly. Consistency in living your values reinforces your credibility, even in challenging situations. Following through on small promises, small actions matter. Showing up on time, responding to emails promptly, or remembering a colleague's request builds a pattern of reliability. These consistent behaviors create confidence in your larger commitments, strengthening trust over time. Owning mistakes. Nobody's perfect. When you fall short, acknowledge it. If you miss a deadline, say, "I apologize for the delay, here's how I'll make it right." Accountability shows integrity and rebuilds trust faster than excuses or avoidance. Practical tips. Set clear expectations and communicate limitations up front. Reflect on your commitments to ensure they're realistic and follow through consistently. Align your tone and body language with your words and own mistakes promptly. Over time, your consistency will make you a trusted communicator. Consistency between words and actions is the foundation of trust. When people know they can rely on you, your communication carries weight, fostering deeper connections and lasting influence. Conclusion. The journey to great communication, effective communication, is a journey, not a destination. It's built on the deliberate practice of listening with intention, pausing thoughtfully, tailoring your message, simplifying your words, aligning nonverbal cues, practicing empathy, asking meaningful questions, framing persuasively, and ensuring consistency. These principles aren't quick fixes. They're habits that, when cultivated, transform how you connect with others. Every conversation is an opportunity to grow. Whether you're navigating a casual chat, a workplace discussion, or a high-stakes presentation, approach each interaction with mindfulness and authenticity. The more you practice these techniques, the more natural they'll become, and the greater impact you'll have. Great communicators aren't born, They're made through effort, reflection, and a commitment to improvement. Key lessons: connection over perfection. Focus on building trust and understanding, not flawless delivery. Presence is powerful. Be fully engaged in every interaction, listening and responding with intention. Adaptability is key. Tailor your approach to your audience to make your message resonate. Consistency builds trust. Align your words and actions to establish credibility. Growth is ongoing. Treat every conversation as a chance to refine your skills. As you apply these principles, you'll notice a shift. Your relationships will deepen, your ideas will gain traction, and your ability to inspire will grow. Communication is the bridge between ideas and impact. Build it with care, and it will carry you far. Step into your next conversation with confidence, knowing you have the tools to connect, persuade, and inspire like never before.